Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome once again to this wonderful time where we want to have a very wonderful webinar on the topic Fibonacci clusters and trading. Because this lecture is brought to you by no other person but Mr. Shedrack. I am the financial analyst for DB Investing Nigeria. So this particular class or this particular lecture is going to help you on how to use Fibonacci levels to identify very strong support and resistance zones. And you'll be glad you stayed for this class. So let's go on for what we have for today. All right, straight up, without wasting much time, uh, we want to look into uh, the Fibonacci clusters. Like uh, like I earlier said, I would uh, waste much time on this, and I'll just go straight to the point on how to identify Fibonacci clusters. All right, and Fibonacci clusters actually is very paramount in your trading because it helps you to identify the area of strong support or resistance level or zone. But how to determine those zones is what we want to look at. And there are some key things you have to look into before you draw your Fibonacci clusters. Number one, you must identify a trend. Okay? Yeah. Like here, you could see that Euro USD has been on the upside for quite a while, right? It has been trending upwards. And in this Fibonacci clusters, where we are trying to identify these zones, we are going to, since it's an uptrend, we'll be looking at higher lows. Okay, so we want to see a market that has more of these higher lows. Okay, so because we're going to be playing around these levels. Is that okay? So that is what we want to be playing around, these higher lows. Is that okay? If you want to see a market that will have more of these higher lows, then once we identify a market that is trending, then we can actually apply these Fibonacci clusters to identify the zone where if the market comes to that point, the market will do a react. Okay, so let's see how this plays out. Now, we want to look at these Fibonacci clusters with Euro USD. So let's apply it. So first of all, I have to bring my Fibonacci retracement tool. Okay. Now, my Fibonacci retracement tool, first of all, is what I'm going to bring. And then, where am I going to map it? I want to map it from here, the beginning of the trend, down to where it currently is, the end of it, where it currently is now. Okay. Now, having identified this, okay, the next thing we are going to do straight up without wasting much time is that we are going to now identify our zone, sorry, our levels, the Fibonacci level of 38.2. Okay, so let's use our horizontal line to identify that one because those are levels we are going to be playing around with. Then two, Fibonacci level of 0.5 or 50% retracement level is the next one. Okay. Three, Fibonacci level of 61.8% level. And then we come to Fibonacci level of 78.6. So these are the levels. Now, having cashed these levels, the next thing we are going to do right up or right away is to begin to move our Fibonacci tool to the higher lows, each of the higher lows. Okay, we'll just be scaling it up. So if we bring it to this first higher low here, we will check which of these Fibonacci levels is close to any of the line, very close to any of the line. This, right? So that means we are going to map that point again. Okay? Yes. Another point that's a bit very close is this one, right? So let's also mark that one out. Is that okay? Nice. So we have these 2 points. So again, we push to the next higher low. Which one is close? We look around to the line. Perhaps this one. Okay? This one is still somewhat close. So we can mark that one. And then drop it there. Okay? So the next is that we still shift up again to this point. This one. This is the next point level. Which one is close? So you can see that here we have one that is almost on the same line, all right, and this other one. So let's go. We have this at this point. Nice. And then we also have this at this point. Okay. So we are gradually getting our clusters. Is that okay? Yeah. So now, after that, what else? What else do we look at here? We still shift again to the next higher low. So here's the next higher low we are looking at, this point. Okay. Do we have any of the Fibonacci clusters around that point? Okay. We have this one here. Okay. So let's put this at this point here. Good. This one is a bit far away from the clusters, right? So let's leave that on half of it. So you could see that where we are gaining more of the clusters around here, okay, followed by this one. All right, then let's push further. Here's the next position. Here, right? Okay, let's keep it there. You can see that we have here and here, okay? So let's just shift this one up to occupy for this. So we have already seen our clusters, where they are coming from. Is that okay? Yeah. Where it's going to be rather. Oh. So that's it. So we put further to the next higher low, which is what? Here, right? But this is a bit very close. So let's go to the next, this one. So this position here. So do we have anyone in this cluster? I think we have this one here. It's just in between the clusters. So on that note, we can take off this one and then fix it up there. Okay? Nice. If we push further, what else? We come to this point. Here is another higher low. What do we have here? Do we have any of them? This one, none. This one it seems to be apart from the clusters we have here. So let's still push on further to the next higher low, which is this point. Okay. At this point, we have this one in between the clusters, right? And this other one. So let's see. So already we have seen the area where the cluster is concentrating much. Okay, we also have this one. We are already seeing the area where the cluster is concentrating much. So that's our area of target. Okay. So we push on again the next. We go from that point up to, let's keep it here. If you watch, we also have another one again concentrating around this point to see that. So we have already seen where our Fibonacci clusters are all edged up. That is around this region here, this zone here. Okay, so we're done. So let's just take off our Fibonacci retracement tool. Okay. and then take off this one. Here is also another strong zone, but we are seeing that the cluster is more around this region. So let's take this one off. Let's take this one off. Okay, fine. So we have this as our Fibonacci cluster. You can see. So this is our zone where we are expecting the market. If this market drops, okay, if this market drops from where it is currently, if it drops down to this point, we are expecting a retracement up, a pullback. So we can take this low as we are to place our XL. So we can just put a pending order here, knowing fully well that this is a very strong zone, that if this market comes to this particular level, definitely there's going to be a reaction. So we can place the pending order here, our stop here, and our target profit maybe here, or maybe at this particular low as our target profit. We can do it as a risk of 1:1.5 or 1:2. Okay, so depending on where we are risking our XL times 2 of it, and you drop your TP. And so that is how we run this. Is that okay? Okay, so that is just the game, and that is how we play around it. Is that okay? Okay, so that's how we play around it. So let's just see how this thing goes further as we push on. Now, you understand how we got these Fibonacci clusters, so it's very easy to play around these Fibonacci clusters. Okay. The next we want to look at is just to take one more example. Okay. One more example. And then you can see again how the market reacted at this zone level. You can see, all right? You can see the reaction of the market at this zone level. You can see clearly, all right? See the reaction, okay, at that zone level. So that is just it. So that's how we identify key levels, key zones. And in this particular method, we're only using it to trade pullbacks. What I mean by pullback is that we are believing that if this market retraces down to this zone, it will do a pullback. That pullback is what we want to trade. That's all. Simple. Okay. So that is it about the Fibonacci clusters. All right. Let's just take one more example and then we call it a day. Let's take one more example and then we call it a day. All right. All right. So let's just take one more example. Let's see probably GBP USD. GBP USD. And let's just see how we can play around that. Okay, now, fine, we have this for GBP USD. Okay, almost similar to that of Euro USD. Is that okay? All right, so let's see what we can take from this. I will want to just take this straight move. Okay, let's look at this straight move. And then we'll be looking at this point, the lower highs it makes, okay? And then this straight move. And then we want to see in this move, which zone will the market, will it be stronger such that if the market retraces from that point down to that area, it will do a pullback. Okay, so that's what we want to identify straight up without wasting much time. And then we call it a day. So, okay. Now, first, I want to bring my Feb 2, okay? Fibonacci 2, I'm putting it here, and I drag to where the market is currently. Okay, now we've done that. So the next thing we want to look at is that we want to map out our levels. So first, I'm going to take this one, place it at the 38.2 level. Okay, then second, the next at a 0.5 or 50% level. Third, I'm going to drop it at the 61.8% level. And then the fifth, I'm going to drop it at the 78th level. So I haven't done that. The next thing is to begin to scale. All right? Begin to scale it up to see these levels. Okay? So we got to scale it up by this moving to the higher, what's it called? The higher lows. We push it on. So from here, we'll go to the first one here, this higher low. Then we'll check which of the levels that are very close to the lines we marked. Okay, the lines, the horizontal lines we've drawn. Which of these levels that are close? They're a bit apart from the levels. Okay, so we push on. Which one is close? We have this one that is close, right? This is close, a bit. So we can drop in a horizontal line here to this point. Okay. The next we go. Which of them? To the next higher low. Which of them is close? This is quite very close, just on point. Okay, so we just pick this one because at the end of the day, we want to see where the clusters are more concentrated. That is one we pick. Look at this one. Here, we also have another one here. So let's do this. So we have one here again. And then we also have one here. So don't worry, at the end of the day, it's like a vote we are going to do. We want to see which one has the greatest cluster. So that is one we concentrate on. So let's push on to the next. Okay. This the point. So where do we have the next? We have another one here. Okay, on this same line. And we have this one here again. Okay, so we can pick this one. We have this one. And then we also have, sorry. And then we also have this one. Which one do we have again? We also have this one, right? And this. So if we are picking up, which one? We're going further. Let's drop it here. So where do we see the cluster? Again, we see that this is where we dropped it, right? So we see that, which other one? No one. So we'll push on further to the next here. So when we do that, do we have any of the clusters, Fibonacci levels around any of the point? We have this one somewhere here and this one here. So we have this here. And we also have this here. Okay. So if we put further to the next level, where do we have again? Here, right? Nice one. So we have this one here. So we have this one here. And then we also have one here. Now, we are done. Now, if you watch very well, where do you think we have more of the clusters? Okay? Where do you think we have more of the clusters? These ones, if you can see, they're a bit, so we have more of the clusters here and here. Is that correct? So let's take off these ones. First of all, let's take off the Fibonacci 2, so I can see clearly. So with this where we have the cluster more. And here, okay, these other ones are a bit spaced. So let's take off these ones. So we are looking at where the clusters are concentrated. Is that okay? Yeah. Where the clusters are concentrated is what we are looking at. Where the clusters are concentrated. Just a minute, guys. Okay, so that is what we are looking at straight up a SAP. Just looking at where the clusters are concentrated. So that is it. Now, so we want to just delete all of this. Now, what's the idea behind this? It's very simple. We just want to identify the zone where if the market comes back to that zone, it will do a pullback. So this zone is what we are looking at, that if, what's it called, UBUSD comes back to come and retest this zone, it will do a pullback. That's what we're looking at. Now, let's see. From here, you could see the market reaction at that point. Can you see that? Powerful. From here, let's go. This is not it. Okay, let me take off this one too, so that you will not be confused. So you understand what I'm not talking about this one. I'm talking about this. So you can see, okay, so you can see that at that point it's a very key level. It's a strong point. Let's see. Anytime the market comes to that point, you see that it's going to be a reaction. I said the market doesn't come to that point. Let's see if the market comes to that point again. If the market comes to that point, there's going to be a reaction. Well, I think it's far away from the market. So the only point the market did touch that point is here. Okay, is here. So this is where it did. You can see the pullback, and then it came in broke. So we're expecting that if this market comes back to test this point, obviously it is going to do a pullback up. Okay, so that pullback is what we want to trade. So we can put our pending order here and then put our stop loss around here at the next low here or here. Okay, put our pending order here, and then our target profit may be at this top level or this particular resistance level here. All right. Yeah. So that's what we are considering, or at the top. So that's how we do. Just place our pending order on there, because definitely when the market comes to that zone, there's going to be a pullback. So that is what we want to actually play around with. I guess this particular lecture is very clear on Fibonacci clusters. How to use these Fibonacci clusters to determine strong key levels of demand and supply zone if you want to, or support and resistance zone that are strong enough to bring a pullback. Thank you so very much, guys. I guess you understand and you fell in love with this particular lecture. We'll see you again same time next week, and with a more deeper lecture we are going to unveil or unravel to you. I wish you a peaceful week using this method. Thank you so very much, and bye-bye. And don't forget, this particular webinar is brought to you by DB Investing. Don't forget, DB Investing, and bye-bye.